welcome to Politics 2.0. On this episode of Key Independent, Secessionist and Separatist Movements on Earth, whether illegal or lawful and legitimate. Your opinion, understood? Also known as Kaisme Vail, we bring you South Yemen. You may have heard of the conflict in Yemen, often called the world's largest humanitarian crisis. But a story within a story has been emerging in the south of the country. South Yemeni separatists have captured their once national capital, Aden or Aden, from the government. Could we witness the rebirth of the state of South Yemen? North and South Yemen used to be two different countries from the 1960s up until 1990. The North was called the Yemen Arab Republic and the South the People's Democratic Republic of Yemen. Yes, a socialist state in the Arab world, allied with the Soviet Union. Man, the world was a totally different place back then. Back when America used to be friends with the jihadists and hated the communists. Anyway, North and South Yemen united in 1990, but Yemen's unity only survived 4 years before a civil war broke out in 1994. South Yemeni forces were crushed, and ever since, Yemen has remained united, technically, but divided in many other ways. Fast forward to 2018, the Houthis, a Zaidi Shia armed movement, are in control of most of northern Yemen, ever since they ousted the Yemeni president Abdurrahman Mansur Hadi from the capital Sana'a. Hadi's government used to rule from the southern port city of Aden until South Yemeni separatists, calling themselves the Southern Transitional Council or the STC, took control of Aden from Hadi's internationally recognized government, which means the official government of Yemen does not even have a proper base in the country right now. The STC is part of a much older independence movement called Hirak al-Janubi or the Southern Movement. Even though the Southern Movement was initially allied with Hadi against the Houthis, their prime concern was the corruption, misgovernance and the mistreatment of the southern people by Hadi's government, and not much about what was happening in the north. The tipping point was reached when the government ignored the STC's demand for the sacking of the Yemeni Prime Minister Ahmed bin Dagher. As a result, the STC attacked Hadi's troops, captured the government buildings, and took control of Aden. Many other cities in southern Yemen are also reportedly under the STC control, thereby strengthening the independence movement. But the big question is, why independence in the first place? Why can't they just chill? To answer that question, we must look at South Yemen's origin story. Most of the modern Middle Eastern countries like Iraq, Syria, Jordan, etc. share a common origin story about how they used to be a part of the Ottoman Empire, and North Yemen is not so different. But South Yemen has a completely different origin story. What kind of origin story is that, you may ask? South Yemen was part of the British Empire, and the city of Aden was a province of British India under the Bombay Presidency. I have much to learn.
Thousands of cheering, loyal subjects welcoming their own queen on their own soil. Important as a coal and oil station as well as a trade route, Aden has a mixed population of Arabs, Indians, Pakistanis and Somalis.
Aden was established in 1839, initially as a base for ships heading to India. Well, one of the key themes in British colonialism was finding creative ways to exploit India. Indian traders, especially Gujaratis and the Parsis, played a major role in Aden's trade. Dhirubhai Ambani briefly worked in Aden. However, Aden later on developed into one of the most busiest ports in the world by the middle of the 20th century, offering just enough luxury to keep the British officers and their families happy there. While the British directly ruled the city of Aden, the rest of South Yemen, comprising about 99.9% of the area, was called the Aden Protectorate.
We go to a much warmer country, but one where, also in the past, barbarism flourished. This, then, is the Aden Protectorate,
which consisted of several states ruled by their respective local sheikhs, sultans, or emirs under British protection. However, despite not sharing a common modern history, the North and South Yemeni people, or at least their leaders, did wish for unity. The desire for unity initially began in the 1950s with the rise of the then Egyptian president Gamal Abdel Nasser's Arab nationalist ideology. The union finally came in 1990 with the northern faction led by Ali Abdullah Saleh, the president of North Yemen, who went on to rule United Yemen until 2011. The southern faction was led by Ali Salam al-Baid, who then became the leader of the secessionist movement Al-Iraq after the failure of the union in 1994. The lack of a proper power-sharing structure after the unification and President Ali Abdullah Saleh's greed for dominance are some of the factors that are believed to have led to the fall of the union. Today, if South Yemen wishes to declare independence, then it would have to face quite a number of challenges. First of all, not everyone in the South supports independence. Many parts are still controlled by forces loyal to Hadi's official government. Southern Yemen also has been the hotbed of Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. They even declared an emirate in the province of Abyan in 2011. Also, it was never going to become some sort of a socialist utopia. Well, some of the SDC's leaders are Salafists. So there goes that. Sorry if the title got you carried away. Moving on. The STC is reportedly supported by the UAE, whose forces played a major role in defeating Al-Qaeda in the southern areas. But the UAE is part of the Saudi-led coalition whose objective is to reinstate Hadi's internationally recognized government by defeating the Houthis, who are thought to be backed by Iran. To say that the situation in Yemen is complicated is indeed a gross understatement. South Yemen's independence, therefore, depends on many variable factors. If you like this video, kindly consider subscribing.